Hey guys. So my next project I was working on is making an alternator bracket for a Denso style alternator for a small block Chevy with one of the proform electric water pumps. And I have it in my S10, which it has a manual gearbox in it, stock steering. And man, it doesn't leave you much options. And I went with dash 20 AN fittings. I'll kind of show you the setup. I was working on putting the big GM one wire alternators on it, but just don't have the room. So I'll show you what I have, and I'll give you part numbers, bolt lengths, and tell you what you need to do. And you can have a nice, convenient, small little alternator. I got the Speedway alternator. It's 90 amp Denso alternator. So here, let me show you what it is and what we're working with, and show you what you need to do. So this is my setup. I got the front end off. I'm doing the bars that come up to the front, and it gives me room to work on the alternator. So this is the Speedmaster alternator bracket I have. It's actually made to go into the two lower bolts, but as you can see, I don't have a whole lot of clearance with the gearbox. So what I did was I used the mounting hole for the alternator, the one where it doesn't have the slot, obviously, and use that in the upper hole of the two holes. Let's see, right there. Use that, and then use that bolt and a spacer. I'll give you the lengths of the spacer to go there. And then the two original holes that it would mount on, if you take the upper hole, and I didn't split it in the middle. I went, you probably could go right in the middle, but I went a little over, but I had enough meat to have the full hole. And you measure from the center of this, the mounting hole, to up here is 4.161. And you measure that, and put a center punch and punch it, and then drill it. I drilled it out to 3/8. And that's the distance you need between the lower water pump bolt hole and the two bottom holes there. So I made those, drilled that, and then for the alternator itself, it comes with a metric thread on the upper one. I drilled that out and put a 5/16 bolt through it. And then this one's actually metric too. It's like 8mm or whatever. I drilled that out to 3/8, so that one goes through. And then the alternator is actually mounted on the top of the bracket instead of on the inside, and it leaves you a nice gap. So as far as my one bolt here, this 5/16 bolt, 1.5 inches long, and then I put washers and a lock nut on it. These other two bolts, they're two different sizes. One's a 5-inch, this one's a 5-inch, and this is 5.5. Both 3/8, coarse thread. The lower one needs a 2 7/8 spacer. That's 2 7/8. And then the upper one is, oh no, backwards. The upper one's 2 7/8, That one, top one's 2 7/8, and then the lower one is 3 3/8. I just made aluminum spacers, and so the bolt on the top, which is the lower water pump bolt, that goes into the water jacket. So you got to make sure you put, I put liquid Teflon on it, or you can use RTV or whatever. Just make sure you put sealant on it. This Speedway, I don't know if it's Speedmaster. I got it from Speedway, but it's either Speedmaster or Speedway bracket. I'll put a link. It's a steel. It's 3/8 thick. Nice and rigid. I mean, not moving at all. And as far as the pulley I have the 2 pulley for a long water pump. There's the length of the pulley. It looks like 3 inch. So that's how I got the right set out. I tried to do the flush one, but then, you wouldn't have no gap back here. You didn't have any space. And now I do have a 1/4 inch motor plate on here. So if you aren't running a motor plate, you got to take a 1/4 inch off those spacer links, and you'll still have the clearance between your motor and everything. Just take that 1/4 inch off the motor plate, or from the motor plate off the spacers. So you'd be at 3 1/8 and 2 5/8, I believe. And then the belt I used, I got it from O'Reilly's. It's a, I guess, lawn and garden one. It's a Gates, but it's $65.89. It's 29 3/4 inch long. Now, depending on where you put this hole, it'll shift your bracket a little bit here and there. It's snug. Like, I don't have it adjusted at all so if it loosens up a little bit, I have adjustment. I did have to put it on most of the way and then turn the crank bolt and kind of hold the belt, and it just popped on, and it wasn't bad or anything. It's got nice tension, perfect tension right now. I'll probably order a couple of these belts up. It's like the perfect length, and see how they work. I was gonna run it over on this side, like a big style alternator, but I had the dash 20 fittings. I welded a fitting on the water pump and everything, and it's just too much stuff right here with the frame so close and everything. And then, I tried to cut a hole back here to give it a little more room. So that didn't work out, but down the road I'll probably make a new motor plate so it don't have a hole. And then I had this for power steering, for clearing all my power steering stuff, so I'll probably make it straight across and a lot thicker there. But just figure I give you, if you want to run the Denso style alternator, it's a nice small one, and you don't have a whole lot of room, and you're running a electric water pump. I'm just saying this bracket's pretty awesome, and there's the hardware you need, there's the belt you need, and there's the bottom pulley you need. Any questions? Just message me or whatever you need. So yeah, so that's the bracket. If you like it, like the design and gonna use it, like and subscribe. If you're not, it's okay. Just trying to help you guys get something done without having to stick a lot of money into something. All the guesswork's out of it. So it is what it is. Like and subscribe. Thank you guys. Have a good night.